My parents woke me up at 3 a.m. "We need to get out! Quickly!" We rushed outside in slippers and pajamas. Through the window, I could see a shadowy figure moving inside the house. When I found out who the figure was, I called the police. On my parents. They shook me hard. My dad said my name twice, fast. "Joanna. Joanna. Get up." "What?" "We need to get out. Quickly." My eyes burned. I sat up, heart going for no reason. "What's going on?" "Get your slippers." "Just come." I reached across the bed for my phone. My mom's voice, sharp. "Leave it!" My hand froze. It wasn't until I stood up, blindly shoved my feet into the slippers by the door, that I realized neither of them had explained anything. We rushed down the hallway, out the front door. The night air slapped me across the face, cold enough to feel it in your lungs. Street empty. No sounds. I squinted around. "Wait, what's happening?" "Just get away from the house," my dad said. "Go." My mom nodded, clutching her robe tighter. "Go." "Walk." "What? Where?" "Just get away." And then they turned around, walked back to the front door, and went inside. Click. Lock. I blinked. I stood on the front path in a hoodie, pajama pants, and the kind of slippers that exist to make you regret your life choices. I hadn't brought my phone, or wallet, or anything. I stared at the door. Still closed. Still locked. "Okay," I muttered. "Cool." I stepped back onto the sidewalk, then onto the grass, hugging myself with both arms. My breath came out in little clouds. This had to be a misunderstanding, or some kind of ridiculous overreaction. Maybe they thought there was someone inside. Maybe they were doing some kind of weird emergency drill. Maybe one of them lost their mind and the other was just going with it. I waited 5 minutes, then 10. No one came back out. No lights turned on. I edged around the side of the house, trying to be quiet, like I wasn't creeping on my own family. Crouched down by the edge of the living room window, shapes moved inside. First one, then another. I couldn't make them out clearly, just shadows. Then a light flicked on in the kitchen. My heart jumped. Was it an intruder? I waited. Another shape moved into view. Small. Familiar. There was something about the hair, the way she turned her head. "No, no, no!" I pressed my face closer to the glass. It was my cousin, Elena. She was sitting at the kitchen table like she lived there, like it was her place, like she'd been invited in. I stepped back fast. My foot slipped on the wet grass and I caught myself against the brick. My parents were inside. With her. And me? I was apparently the one outside. I walked around to the front door and knocked. First quiet. Then louder. Nothing. I knocked again. "Hello?" Still nothing. Then, after what felt like another 5 minutes, the door opened. My dad stood there, face unreadable. Not mad. Not surprised. Just calm. I stared at him. "Can I come in?" "No." "What?" "You don't live here anymore." I laughed. Just once. A dry, single sound. "What are you talking about? You don't live here anymore. I heard you the first time." I meant, what the hell does that mean? He didn't answer. "You're kicking me out?" He didn't flinch. "It's done." "Done? Are you serious?" "We've made our decision." "What decision?" "Based on what?" He didn't answer. Just turned, grabbed something from the side table, came back. He held it out. My ID, and a $20 bill. "So, you can take a bus." Or whatever, I didn't take it. You're giving me $20 and an identity card. You want me to... What? Start a new life? It's what we can give you. And my stuff? He shrugged. None of that's yours. I paid for all of it. It's mine. You're actually serious. He nodded. What did I do? I asked. What did I actually do? Still nothing. Behind him, I could see the edge of Elena's sleeve at the table. She was laughing at something. Or maybe smiling. Who knows? The sound didn't travel, but the glow did. It looked like a family dinner. Without me. You're siding with her, I said, voice low. You can leave now. You didn't even ask me. He held out the ID again. Joanna. Take it, I took it. And the 20. Because pride doesn't get you a warm place to sleep. Then I stepped back. He closed the door. Didn't slam it. Didn't hesitate. Just closed it. Click. I stood on the porch in socks that weren't warm enough, holding two things that apparently summed up everything I was worth to them. A name and bus fare. I was born first. That was my first mistake. What my mom really wanted was a daughter. A soft-voiced, dress-wearing, glitter-loving little girl. The kind she could braid hair for and buy matching outfits with. Technically, she got a daughter. She just didn't get that daughter. She got me. 5 months later, her sister gave birth to a baby girl named Elena. And I stopped being interesting. It wasn't like my mom ever said it out loud. I wish she were mine. That would have been a bit too honest. But actions? Actions were fluent. Every time Elena visited, starting before either of us could walk, my mom would light up like it was Christmas morning. She held Elena longer. Softer. Talked to her in that sugar melt voice she never used with me. Bought her things. Fancy things? Things I only got when she was around so it wouldn't look weird. Spoiler. It looked weird. It wasn't just favoritism. It was infatuation. She wanted Elena to love her back. To choose her over her real mom. And for the most part, Elena did. My aunt worked long hours. Longer than my mom, so my mom ended up babysitting a lot. Both of us? Technically, but it always felt like I was just there. Extra. Background noise. If Elena sneezed, she got a blanket and a mug of tea. If I sneezed, I got told to stop making that sound with my nose. By the time I was 7, I'd figured out the structure. Elena was the daughter my mom dreamed of. I was the daughter she got stuck with. We grew up together like mismatched bookends, always standing side by side, never quite fitting. Elena was the star. She had dimples, a charming fake laugh, perfect handwriting. I had a bad haircut and a personality built entirely out of awkward silences. Family gatherings were fun. Isn't Elena lovely? Joanna, why don't you smile more? Look at Elena's posture. Joanna, stop slouching. I eventually stopped attending half the time. My mom never noticed. Or maybe she just preferred it that way. One less shadow in the background. School made it worse. Same grade. Same class. Same last name. Thanks to my mom and her sister never leaving their maiden names behind. Everyone assumed we were sisters. She didn't correct them. She didn't say anything at all. At school, Elena was popular, the kind of girl who got asked to every group project and never had to actually do the work. I was the girl who did the work. Quietly. Alone. While people called me Cousin Eeyore behind my back. We didn't talk much at school, unless a teacher paired us together, which only happened once. I did the entire assignment. She got all the credit. She gave me a smile after like she'd done me a favor. At home, it didn't get better. Elena was around constantly. She and my mom had inside jokes, nicknames, shared hobbies. They painted mugs together, went shopping. My mom kept calling her my other baby. I was the actual baby, Not that it mattered. I tried fixing things to stay useful. Broken drawer handles, faulty power strips. I once repaired the entire sink by watching a video tutorial on 1.5x speed. My mom thanked me the same way you thank the mailman. Everything changed, or I thought it would, the year we graduated. Elena's dad got a job in another city. Her whole family was set to move 2 hours away. My mom was devastated. She said it quietly to my dad when she thought I wasn't listening. She's always felt like one of ours. One of ours. Cute. But then the twist came. Elena got accepted into a university right here, in the city. A good one, too. She wasn't moving. She just needed a place to stay. And naturally, she asked my mom. Naturally, my mom said yes. It came up over toast. She might stay with us, my mom said. Like it was no big deal. Like she was asking if I wanted almond or peanut butter. I looked up. Where would she sleep? Well, if you're going to college or getting a job soon and you're moving out anyway, we thought, I'm not moving out. I got into the university here. She didn't even blink. Right. Well, we'll figure something out. If we'll figure something out had a face, it would be my mom's face whenever I did something inconvenient. Like breathe. Elena didn't waste time. She started with the helpful suggestions. You'd love living on campus. It's good for your social life. Having space of your own is so healthy. I could always help your mom out around here. She says I'm a natural with chores, which was funny since I'd been the one unclogging the sink she poured noodles down the week before. Then it got weirder. She said it one night while we were both in the hallway. Casual voice, light tone, like it was just another roommate negotiation. If you don't move out, she said, I might tell them something. I raised an eyebrow. Like what? She tilted her head. I could say you made me uncomfortable. That you touched me or something, I laughed. A short, disbelieving laugh. You wouldn't. She smiled. I wouldn't have to go into detail. Just enough to scare them. Then she walked away like nothing happened. I didn't tell my parents. Not right away. Because what do you even say? Hey, the girl you wish you gave birth to just casually threatened to accuse me of something life-ruining so she can take my room. I figured she was bluffing, that she wouldn't actually go that far, and then she did. I stood on the curb in my pajamas and slippers with my ID in one hand and a $20 bill in the other. A real coming-of-age moment if you're starring in a documentary about neglect. The house behind me was dark, quiet, like nothing had just happened. Like they hadn't shoved me out at 3 a.m. because my cousin, the human glitter bomb, decided to throw a grenade into my life. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have keys. I didn't even have socks. I walked. At first I didn't know where I was going. Maybe I thought I'd wake up, or they'd come out after me, or this was a really immersive panic dream and I'd see my bed again once I turned the corner. None of that happened. Instead, I found a phone box 3 blocks away. It was half covered in old flyers and something sticky, but it had a dial tone. Miracles still happen. I called 911. Are you in danger? The operator asked. No, I said, just legally confused. By the time the cops pulled up outside the house, I was standing in the shadows across the street like a stray cat trying to decide if a porch was safe. They knocked on the door. It opened fast, like my parents had been waiting. I crossed back over quietly. I stayed on the path, arms folded. The officers didn't stop me. We got a call, one of them said. Your daughter says she was removed from the home without notice. She's 18, my mom said flatly. She doesn't live here anymore. Why not? We've had issues. Such as? My dad stepped in. We're not comfortable with her being here. After what happened? That was it. That one sentence. Like a throwaway line in a bad play. The officer raised an eyebrow. What happened exactly? They both went silent. Then my mom said, "Our niece told us something concerning something inappropriate." The second officer nodded slowly. "Okay. Is she here now?" "She is." "Then we'd like to speak to her." They brought Elena to the door like she was the guest of honor at a wake. She looked like she'd just gotten out of bed, which she had, but her face was already perfectly arranged, pale, innocent, slightly trembly. "Hi," the officer said. "Can we ask you a few quick questions?" She nodded. "Did Joanna hurt you?" Her eyes darted toward me for a second, then to the ground. "I didn't say that," she mumbled. "But your aunt and uncle said something happened." She hesitated. "I told them I felt uncomfortable." "Uncomfortable how?" Silence. "Are you accusing her of something?" "Something criminal?" I never said that. I didn't ask them to do anything." The officers let it hang. One of them turned back to my dad. "Sir, you do realize that even though she's 18, if she lived here, you can't legally evict her without notice?" My dad stiffened. "It's our house." "Yes," the officer said, "but you still need to give written notice." 30 days is standard in most states. My mom tried again. "But everything here was paid for by us. It's ours." The officer shook his head. "If you gave it to her, her phone, her clothes, her furniture, it's considered a gift under the law. That's her property now." They both looked rattled. "I'd like my phone back," I said quietly. "There's something I want to show you." There was a pause. Then my mom turned and walked back into the house. She came back with my phone, handed it to me like it was radioactive. I unlocked it, opened the audio file, hit play. Elena's voice came through, clear as anything. "Just pick the other university and move out, or I'll tell them you touched me. I need that room. Don't be selfish." I watched her face as it played. No reaction at first. Then a slow drop in her shoulders, like her entire spine had just deflated. When it finished, the officer asked her, "Is that your voice?" Elena crossed her arms. "It's out of context." "Is it fake?" "I didn't mean it." "But you said it?" She didn't answer. The silence was longer this time. The cops looked at my parents. My parents looked at the floor. "She didn't mean it," my mom whispered. "She said it," I replied. The officers straightened. One of them said to my dad, "She has the right to return to her room and collect her belongings. If you prevent that, it could be considered illegal." No one argued. No one even tried. Elena disappeared 10 minutes later. She stood in the hallway, hugging herself like someone had turned the heat off. I watched her pull out her phone, order an Uber, and wait by the front door without a word. "I think I'm just gonna go," she said, more to the wall than to any of us. The car pulled up. She got in. No one stopped her. No one said goodbye. And just like that, she was gone. I went back inside. No one looked at me. My mom hovered near the sink. My dad stared at the floor like it held answers. I walked past them without speaking, went to my room, and shut the door. I didn't sleep. I just sat on the edge of the bed for a while, staring at my bookshelf like it had betrayed me. Then I started packing. Not all of it, just the essentials: laptop, charger, clothes, a few books that still felt like mine. At 6 in the morning, I texted my friend Max. "You up? Got a couch I can borrow?" He answered in 2 minutes. "Come whenever. Bring snacks." By 7, I had 2 bags by the door. I didn't bother with breakfast. As I reached for the handle, my dad spoke. "You can stay if you want." I didn't turn around. "You believed her," I said. "You didn't even ask me what happened." I opened the door. "That's enough." Then I stepped outside. And this time, no one followed. When I walked out that morning with my bags over my shoulder, I didn't slam the door. I didn't look back. I didn't say a word. I think that was the most offensive part of all. Silence is a great equalizer. You can't twist silence. You can't quote it out of context. You can only fill it with your own guilt. I went straight to Max's place, dropped my bags by the door, sat on his couch like a dead thing. He didn't ask questions. He handed me a hoodie, a blanket, and a slice of pizza. It was 7:40 a.m. "You're the weirdest sleepover guest I've ever had," he said. "I'll take that." We didn't speak much. Didn't need to. That day was just a day. I floated through it with my phone in airplane mode and my spine in semi-collapse. But the next day, I went back to get the rest of my stuff. Quietly. Quickly. No eye contact. No conversations. Just in, grab the box of things I'd spent a lifetime earning, and out. They didn't say anything. I don't know if they thought I'd stay, if they thought that handing me my phone back and letting me sleep under the roof I paid for with my dignity somehow reset the game board. It didn't. I had already left. Everything after that was just follow through. I moved into a shared flat the following week. Max's old roommate had just moved out to join a startup cult, or maybe it was a crypto thing. It's hard to tell these days. Rent wasn't cheap, but it was doable. I had a scholarship. I got a job tutoring first years who couldn't calculate GPA if you spotted them the formula. I did grocery runs, cooked for myself, paid bills, unclogged sinks with pliers and curse words. Turns out, being thrown out at 3 a.m. gives you a crash course in adulthood. I don't recommend it. The first text from my mom came 5 days later. "Hey, are you eating?" I didn't reply. Then, "You should come by. Just to talk." Still no reply. Then, "The water heater's acting up again. You always knew how to fix it." There it was, the shift, from guilt to guilt tripping. My dad's first message was about a roof leak. Not how are you or we messed up, just logistics. I ignored that one too. They didn't want a daughter. They wanted a handyman with emotional amnesia. 2 weeks later, the gossip started. Not to me, of course. No one ever gossips to the person they're gossiping about, but word got around. An old classmate messaged me, "Hey, random, but did something happen with you and your cousin? I heard." Yeah, you heard. I didn't ask where it came from. Could have been my parents. Could have been Elena. Could have been that one aunt who collects family drama like wine and serves it at dinner. Apparently, the version going around was that I acted inappropriately and had to be removed. Like I was a bad guest at a wedding. No mention of the part where I proved it was all made up. Funny that. At first I wanted to ignore it. Take the high road. Be the bigger person. Let people believe what they wanted. But then a second message came in, and a third, and I realized no one was going to tell the truth for me, so I did it myself. There's a family group chat, the kind of place where birthday messages go to die and blurry photos of banana bread live forever. I dropped a single post. Just to clarify, since there's been some confusion, I was kicked out of my house at 3 a.m. because Elena told a lie. I played a recording for the police, her threatening to accuse me if I didn't move out. She admitted it. The cops backed me. That's why I don't live there anymore. I'm not looking for sympathy. I just don't want lies filling the silence I didn't attach anything. No file, no clip. Just the truth, typed out plainly. Anyone who wanted more could ask. No one did. Elena had already moved by then. Different city, different life. When people asked her what happened, she said they misunderstood. That she never meant to start anything. That she never asked them to kick me out. Just like she never meant the recording. Or the threat. Elena's version of truth came pre-washed and wrinkle-free. Easy to fold, store, forget. My parents? They were still there. And now, without her. The golden girl they used to worship? Gone. No more weekend brunches, no more Instagram-worthy hugs in the kitchen. I heard through my cousin Jess that my mom was rethinking a lot of things. I didn't ask what that meant. About a month later, my mom texted, "We miss you." Then, "Would you come for dinner?" Just once? I stared at the screen for a while, not because I didn't know what to say, but because I finally knew exactly what I wasn't willing to say anymore. I didn't reply, not out of spite, just peace. Because sometimes silence isn't weakness, it's closure. Time passed. Not fast, not neatly, but it passed. And the farther I got from that house, the more I realized just how much space it had taken up in my head. Living under a roof where I was constantly being compared to someone else, constantly made to feel like a placeholder. It wears you down in ways you don't even notice until you're out. Now, I wake up when I want. I cook what I like. I play music out loud in the kitchen without someone saying, "Elena plays that better." No one's measuring me against anyone. No one's standing behind me with a red pen, correcting my existence. And that freedom, it's joy I didn't even know I'd been living without. I think they regret it. My parents. Not because they've said so, but I hear things. Through cousins, a couple of awkward Facebook posts. One of them apparently cried at a dinner when someone brought up my name. It's a strange kind of grief, watching someone miss you, knowing you're still alive. Will I ever talk to them again? Maybe. Not tomorrow. Not next month. But maybe one day, when I know I'm walking in by choice, not obligation. For now, I have peace. I have room to breathe. And sometimes, that's more than enough. So tell me, did I go too far? Not far enough? Or did I finally do the right thing? Drop it in the comments. And if you're still here, hit subscribe.